I'm Emily Muhlstein. Welcome back to our video series Gulf Currents that aims to explain the current management issues being faced by the Gulf Council. Today, Dr. Lisa Hollenseed has joined us to talk a little bit about catch limits. I think that most of us are familiar with the term quota, but that's really a general blanket term that we use to explain some of the more specific catch limits that the Council actually sets. Thanks for joining us, Lisa.
Thank you for having me.
So Lisa, can you just start us off with a broad overview of these catch limits that we set for management?
Sure thing. First at the top we have the overfishing limit, and underneath that we have the acceptable biological catch. And those two things are set by the Council's Scientific and Statistical Committee, or the SSC.
And that is a group of scientific advisors. They're scientists that operate in the scientific world, and they just act as an advisory body to the Council. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Then what are the next two?
The next two are going to be the annual catch limit and the annual catch target. Now those two are set by the Council.
Okay, great. Can you start us off with a description of the overfishing limit, or the OFL?
Sure thing. So the OFL is the amount of the stock that can be caught within a year without resulting in overfishing. Now that is a scientific calculation that comes from the stock assessment process and is reviewed and approved by the SSC.
Okay, so it's a threshold of harvest above which we are considered to be overfishing a stock?
That's correct.
Great. Okay, so the next level is the acceptable biological catch, or the ABC. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So the ABC is going to incorporate the scientific uncertainty from the OFL. So it will allow for a bit of a buffer, and that is also established by the Council's SSC.
So this next catch limit is the one that I'm most familiar with, the annual catch limit, or ACL. So what can you tell us about that ACL?
So the ACL is going to be set by the Council, and that's going to incorporate management concerns such as conservation, social, and economic factors. And it's always going to be set at or below the ABC.
So it's also my understanding that the annual catch limit is an important threshold because it is where we trigger accountability measures. Is that right?
That's right. So for an example, an in-season closure would be triggered by an exceeding of the ACL.
Okay, so our lowest catch limit is an annual catch target, or ACT. What can you tell us about the ACT?
So the ACT is also going to be set by the Council, and it would allow for the incorporation of additional management uncertainty.
And we don't always use an ACT, is that right?
That's right. Not all stocks have an ACT on the books, but some do.
Okay, so I think amberjack and gray triggerfish are examples of stocks that we manage with ACTs.
Yeah, that's correct.
So at a Council level, we do spend a lot of time thinking about and setting these catch limits. However, it's not totally clear to me how the catch limits impact our on-the-water fishing regulations. So can you sort of connect those dots for me, Lisa?
Yeah, the on-the-water fishing regulations relate back to these catch limits such that the Council can achieve its management goals.
Okay, so we set things like size limits and seasons to allow the amount of harvest that is prescribed by these catch limits.
That's right. Those would be methods with which to achieve those management targets.
Well, thank you for giving us your time today and explaining these catch limits a little bit more.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Appreciate being here.
And thank you guys for joining us and taking the time to watch this video.
Yeah, thank you.